Hello everybody and welcome back, and we're currently with Carrick in Thunderdelve, and he has made his way back to here. He explored quite a large part of this northern area. There is one door here which is guarded by a bear that he will leave. This area here probably seems more promising, especially these golden doors, but he will check this southern door here. He is in area 74. He wishes to unbar the southern door, which takes him to 255. And 255 looks like this. It's the same as 256. One wonders what the difference is. Perhaps, well, who can tell? So we have a 30 by 30 room with the door on the other side and a crevasse again. And it definitely seems to be an extension of this one. This short hall has been divided by a great crevasse. From the depths of the pit, Carrick hears a dull rumbling. A large part of this region has been swallowed into the pit, which extends to the south and west. He can't see the bottom, but he can detect foul-smelling vapours that swirl from it. Across the pit is part of his hall, leading to a blackened door that suggests some kind of fiery cataclysm. The pit here is only 10 feet wide. He might be able to jump it, but the southern edge is crumbling. It would certainly break off and plunge him to his death. As he peers over the pit's edge, he feels a tingling presence run up his spine. He turns and sees a dim form coalescing from the vapours. It is a vapour ghoul. He's trapped between it and the pit. And then there are conditions for if you do or don't have a magical weapon, and if he is hit or if he rolls a 20. Let's roll for initiative. We have a Vapour Ghoul. It has an armour class of 2, which is good. Carrick's Thaco is 9, so he will need a 7 to hit it. It is a 3-hit dice monster. It needs an 18 to hit him. It has 15 hit points, so there is a chance he could get hit, and we will see what happens then. Let's roll for initiative. The ghoul gets it. Right, it only does 1d4 plus special damage. And it misses. Carrick, as we know, does d12 plus 4. He could feasibly take this out in one go. Yeah, he hits hard, but swipes into the wall, not the ghoul. Right, okay. So round number 2. The ghoul goes again. Oh, right. Again, it misses. Can he hit with equal fervour? Come on, Carrick. Yes, he does, and he does 11 damage. The ghoul is on 4. Round number 3. Carrick wins again, so he clearly is swiping left and right. He follows up with that first hit with a quick second one. Okay, of which he misses. The ghoul has a go, and every round this goes on, it's another chance for him to get hit. I don't know what the special effect is. If he gets hit, we'll find that out together. Oh, no, he's safe. So here we are again. Round 4, the ghoul goes again. And he gets hit for 2 points. He's down to 22. Go to 259. The Vapour Ghoul's arms lengthen and reach past his defences, grasping his head. He feels a shock and takes 1 to 4 points of damage and loses 1 point of intelligence. If his intelligence falls to 0, he is defeated. If you survive, return to 255. Now what is Carrick's intelligence? It's just 7, so it's currently at 6. Right, so I think we're on round number 5. Right, he wins. Didn't like that. Is he good enough to finish this? Yes, and he skewers the Vapour Ghoul with his sword, and in a sort of wretched, tattered mess, it vaporizes appropriately. Go to 257. Carrick leans back against the wall and tries to clear the fuzziness from his head. The vapor ghoul condenses into a pool of liquid on the floor. He dimly recalls a legend that good may come of drinking this ghoul's essence, or by saving it, potions of undead control may be distilled. If he wishes to drink it, go to 258. Okay, so he has the choice of turning this into a potion when he gets back to civilization, or else drinking it for what he hopes will be some good. Don't know where that legend comes from, so he will drink it. He must gather up this ghoul's essence into an empty vial, or else scrape it into his hands and slurp from his palms. He immediately feels strengthened, and 2 to 7 points of damage are healed. He also regains 2 to 7 points of intelligence if he lost any. He lost 1, so he will regain that 1. And let's roll for some healing. Okay, that's 5. He's back up to 27. He does have that vial that has 2 doses. He might as well take 1 dose. There's no point in running around on half health. Right, he's back up to 30. So with that little escapade done, he can't go further this way. But there's clearly more happening here. And he is back at 74. And it's time to open these golden doors. Back at 74, he wishes to open the eastern doors, reach 75. He crosses the crystal bridge, the water thundering loudly beneath his feet, and he feels the vibrations run through his boots. He grasps the great door handles and pushes, but nothing happens. The doors are firmly locked or barred on the other side. He can never break through. If Z is crossed off your event record, go to 77, and if I look at my event, it is indeed crossed off. Baron's Forge, he shouts, proclaiming the words old Nimron taught him. Nothing happens, but then, growing from a single bright point, witch fire burns through the ironwood, running like a river through channels that once held golden filigree. Silently, the magic light dies away, and the doors swing open. Go to 265. And we're faced with this very large room here, the biggest we have seen so far. This enormous, once festive hall is now in ruins. Charred tables, benches and skeletons lay tumbled together where they fell during the sudden and fiery onslaught of the fierce Naka. The room is filled with the sound of dull thunder constantly booming in the distance. An enormous gem glows high up on a central pillar. Carrick has heard of this fabled uncut stone, the Heir's Stone. It was left exactly where it was found when the dwarves were excavating this hall. Standing at the base of the pillar is a statue of a happy dwarf, his arms thrown wide in greeting. Carrick can take account of the exits, and I might actually draw on my book. The great doors leading to the west, 74. They're coated with mithril. The smaller doors on the north, 281. There is a runic inscription 6 above them. These are 74. A great arch in the eastern wall opens into a descending flight of stairs. That's 366. The southern doors are 306. As Carrick enters the hall, he senses movement. He looks around and notices the statue of the dwarf is moving towards him, its face carved into a smile, its fists clenched. He knows of these dwarven statues, and he knows they're controlled by a key word, but he doesn't know it. Right now, this is bizarre. It asks me for a series of event records if they're crossed off, either L or Y, or both L and Y. But if I look at my event record log, it goes from HIJKM. There is no L. Bit of a typo there. I will cross-reference this with the very good PDF version of Thunderdelve that one of the viewers sent me. He has to either retreat the way he came, not an option, or else he can try and dodge around the statue to go for an exit. Right, let's see if he can do the dodge. 266. As he moves past the statue, it lunges at him. It moves faster than he does, but hopefully his reactions are quicker. Roll d20 for a dexterity check. Luckily, Carrick has a 14 dexterity, so the odds are slightly on his side. And they are right. 267. He dodges aside, nearly tripping over a burned trestle, but makes it safely to an exit. The statue will await his return. If he tries to recross the hall, he will have to dodge again. Okay, so let's fill out this room. Let's translate the inscriptions above the north and south door. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's translate inscription 6. H-O-S-P. H-O-S-P-I. And that must be a C. Hospice. That does not look like the C rune. There is a second line. H-I-N-D. That's a K. So, hospice, kindred. Well, that's nice. That obviously sounds like a place to care for elderly dwarves. So, in his frantic run around the place, will he go north or will he go south? Carrick is being chased by this happy dwarf statue. Sounds like a nightmare. And which exit will he take? I'm going to choose either the north or the south. This large exit seems to be a bit different, and these were inscribed with the idea of a hospice. It will be the usual roll of a dice, and I shall choose orange for north, and whichever scores highest. And it's north. Okay. This is 2. And north was 281. And we're given a hallway like this to draw. So we've got 1, 2, 3. It's 6 squares long. There are 2 doors in the east and a door at the end. This hallway has been blasted with fire. Cinders cling to the walls. Even the rock is cracked, especially at the southern end of the hall. The southernmost door on the east has been completely burnt away. The other 2 eastern doors are charred but solid. Okay. This would imply there are 3 eastern doors. I'm putting that down to a typo. The northern door appears to be made of a dark metal. You can pass through the northern door, which is 282, the middle eastern door, which is 294, the southernmost eastern door, which is 296. I think he will just continue northward. 281. And this takes us to this little room here, 30 by 30. There is a secret door. We have a ring that will highlight any secret doors. The metal door fits snugly in its frame, but opens easily when pushed. Inside is a library. The walls are covered with shelves holding damp scrolls. There are various soggy, decayed chairs. The floor is wet. Your ring outlines a secret door in the eastern wall. Right, Carrick can either investigate this room further or else return to the hall. There doesn't seem to be an option yet for the secret door, so we shall investigate this room. And he takes a scroll from the shelf nearby the door, crumbles in his hand, leaving nothing but a wooden spindle. All these writings are decayed beyond repair unless there's a magical means to restore them. The water in the room is responsible for the mould and the decay. He looks around and he sees that a crack has opened in the ceiling that lets water in from outside. He then notices several restless black shapes hanging from the ceiling. This is where he can either retreat or check out the secret door, and he's going to check out the secret door. That sounds like vampire bats in the ceiling. He tiptoes towards the secret door, trying to maintain his footing on the slimy floor, and he's given another dexterity check, right, and his dexterity is 14. And he makes it. He rolls an 8. 287. He skirts disaster and arrives at the secret door. The bats on the ceiling remain undisturbed, and he goes to 289, and we're given this little room here, which I shall draw here, and this is a dead end. This metal door creaks back on its rusty hinges. Inside are more, better preserved scrolls, yet here too the dampness has seeped in and some of the scrolls are mouldy. He will choose to investigate further. He puts his hand on a scroll, ready to take it from a shelf. Suddenly he realises this is no normal mould, it's yellow mould. He dares not move, and he's given another dexterity check. Oh, and he just makes this one. Has he made all his dexterity rolls so far? I think he has, or he may have failed one, but he's doing quite well on them. Carefully, he backs towards the door, placing his feet in the same spots that he stepped coming into the room. Finally, he finds himself back in the damp library. Yellow mould is a monster from the Red Box set that the party still haven't encountered yet. If you do Castle Mistamere and you are of a certain level, you can open up a secret room that has harpies in it and a dining table which is covered in gold plates. It turns out the gold is actually yellow mould, so it could be a monster you meet very early on in your D&D timeline, but we haven't met it yet at all. So Carrick is back inside the library and he still has the scroll in his hand, and he discovers luckily it has not been contaminated with yellow mould. It says here he risks striking a light to read it by, but Carrick has a light gem which he will take out of a small bag and read the scroll by. Some of the bats in the ceiling are disturbed. Most of the scroll is too badly damaged to read, but he can make out the end section wrapped closest to the spool. To read the scroll, see inscription 8 and then return to this long corridor 281. Okay, let's read inscription 8. Right, here is my translation of the runes which were originally on the cardboard cover of the module. There are some errors. Some of the symbols look very close to each other, especially O and A, and those sometimes get mixed up. So for example, what is spelt stain is really stone, and mast is really most. There are also a couple of mix-ups between M and D, so a word which was suddery should really be summary. And apart from that, it's quite clear, though time-consuming to do. And obviously because this is a ruined piece of parchment, many of the words are missing or just have a few letters left. So let us read this together. And such a manner have I made the creation Heir's arm, and placed him base at Heir's stone. He must treated most courteously, for he will attack any stranger we can assume that has not been introduced. Speaking his name may mend him, but he will never, we can assume, be trusted or be completely an ally. The Great Hall, in summary, emphasise, if ever, now this word completely threw me, Sarad need is great. Heir's arm may destroyed his heart, take made into a most potent weapon by placing it in the forge. The strong-minded may, I put day visit, that's another M and D mixed up, it must be may visit. Chalcedar, again it could be a misspelling, though this be perilous, great care must, do not neglect the, now that could be helm, ooh, all else would be grateful, and then it's signed at the bottom, Darrogin Marble Fist. So it will take Carrick a few moments to read this and to think about what it means whilst he is in this corridor here, and that's where we will leave him, as he wonders if Heir's arm is another name for the Hammer of Vitroin, where this forge is, and can this hammer be trusted. And he will soon find out if he's got the translation for Chalcedar correct. Okay, we will catch up with Carrick next time, which means it's time to go to Castle Mistamere, and I'll see you in a moment. And we find Donard, Malin, Sylvia and Flynn in this area here. So when they go back to the corridor, remember they are back on their stealth of 60 feet per 10 minutes, looking very carefully for traps and other things that might ooze out of the cracks between the stones. Malin is holding his lamp aloft, and the garnet gem gives out a slightly pinkish glow from within, and as he moves it around the walls and floor, the party inch their way forward. They come to a door here, and Flynn, without waiting for Donard's rather patronising "you first," goes up and listens to it. And he doesn't hear anything, and so Donard will open the door and they find themselves in a reasonably large room like this. By the way, the scale on this map is 1 square is 5 feet, so this is the 30 feet by 20 feet room. There's clearly a door in the opposite corner that is ajar. Now that looks suspicious. We'll see if Flynn can stealth across quietly to listen at the door. And he does indeed move silently. And can he hear anything? Well, he is fairly certain he can't hear anything, so Donard opens this door and finds there's nothing but a 10-foot square closet behind it. But on the floor is a small coin purse. The party will look at it and obviously think that it might be trapped. It looks too convenient, an open door, a solitary coin purse in the middle of the floor. Flynn will check for traps. He doesn't find any, but that doesn't mean there aren't any, so I think it would be prudent to leave it and to go back into the corridor and to move forward into this open area here. And they come into a rather large room, which is 30 by 50 feet. It has the usual dry stone walls, which make up this subterranean dungeon, but across here is a tapestry. As Malin casts his lantern over the tapestry, they see it has an image of a wizard. They assume it is Bargle. And in this tapestry, Bargle is looming over Castle Mistamere like a giant, with his arms and fingers outstretched, and all the land around the castle is set ablaze. Flynn looks at it and asks, "Is this who we are up against?" Sylvia replies, "I think that's his vision of himself. I would say this is a picture of his fantasies rather than reality." Flynn looks at the image of this magic user setting the land on fire and thinks, well, that's some comfort. But it is clear the tapestry doesn't reach the floor. There is enough of a gap underneath for them to see that this beyond it is the corridor further into the dungeon. So the only way to continue is to push the tapestry aside. Donard will do that, and as he does so, he jumps back because there's a crackle of magic and a likeness of Bargle steps out of the tapestry. However, this likeness seems to be made of one consistent material that is semi-translucent and crystalline. This is a living crystal statue. We have come across crystal statues before. This one has an armor class of 5, 3 hit dice, and it has 2 attacks doing 2d6 each. And since Donard was the one in front, it will go for him. Let's get this fight started. Who has initiative? The statue gets initiative, and it gets 2 swipes at Donard. And it misses with both of them. Donard will strike back with his warhammer. You would think that a hammer would do more damage to stone than a sword, but not really. And he definitely misses. Sylvia has her go. She hits and does 6 damage. The statue is from 13 down to 7. Flynn will fall back and try and shoot it. I will have to check the rule set to see if it is affected by non-magical weapons. Flynn misses. His arrow bounces off the walls. Malin will stay back holding the light, keeping this fight lit. Let's roll for round number 2. The party get it this time. Donard has a swipe. He hits and does 6 damage. The statue is down to 1. Sylvia. Her melee THAC0 is 15. She hits armor class 4 and does enough to kill it. This statue just shatters into small crystalline pieces which hit the floor. Flynn thinks they look like diamonds. Malin says you would be mad to touch them, but even ignoring Malin, as Flynn goes to grab these crystals, they seem to shrink and crumble into dust. This area is clear. There is a door at the end. Donard tells Flynn to get off the floor, stop grabbing that dust, and have a listen. Now Flynn could hear something in this room, but he comes back and says there are no noises. So opening up the room, they find themselves in a 30 by 40 foot room. In the centre of the north wall of this room is a black altar lit by red candles. Above the altar is a painting of Bargle, and numerous trinkets and offerings are spread around the base. Now, those candles will have long melted, so the candlesticks are covered in hardened red dripping wax. And the DM notes say, Bargle rarely has time to have an audience with all of his minions, instead allowing them to make offerings here for him to claim later. The door leading south out of this chamber is locked. Bargle's minions leave few things of true value here. Currently there's 28 copper pieces, 15 silver pieces, 4 gold pieces spread around the altar, along with a dead rat, 2 halfling fingers and a potion of healing. We have sampled, sniffed and tasted enough potions of healing to uncork this one, smell it, think it smells wholesome. Donard is going to put some on his fingertip and lick it, and sure enough he can taste a potion of healing, so that's good. Already they have gone further into this dungeon than they did the last time, and they have got 2 options to either go east or south. Will the party go through this open area, or will they try the door? They can listen at the door. And Flynn can't hear anything, and he will try and unlock this door. His open locks is 45, and he throws a 62. Sylvia commiserates. So they creep further east and they see the stairs going back up to level 2, and the corridor goes southward. Now this is a dark place. So far they've encountered ogres. Ogres don't have infravision, so there will be other light sources like torches hanging from the walls. Malin will shutter his lantern as they see a glow up ahead. Flynn will stealth forward, which he fails to do just. Has he alerted the ogre? Because that was very close to success. I'm going to roll a d6, and if it's a 1 or a 2, then the ogre spotted him. And it isn't a 1 or a 2, but he doesn't really spot the ogre before he hears his own shoes creak. But what he will do is he will retreat and go back to the party, not reporting any news. So sure enough, when they move forward into room 79, into this room here, there is another solitary ogre. Let's roll for surprise. And the party get surprise. Okay. I shall do Donard first. Look at that. And he does 9 damage. The ogre is from 19 down to 10. I should have done missiles first. It has been some time since we've done an old-fashioned dungeon crawl, and I have forgotten the procedures. Flynn. Now Flynn he gets a +1 bonus for short range. That's an 11, and his missile THAC0 is 16, so he hits armor class 5. The ogre has armor class 5. That's another 5 points. The ogre is down to 5. And then we have Sylvia, who fumbles. Right. So the ogre turns round and bellows. That was the surprise round. Let's roll for initiative. And the party get initiative, so it's a chance to do that again. Okay. I'm going to say that by this time, both Sylvia and Donard have covered the ogre, so if Flynn wants to shoot, he can shoot at its head. They are rather tall, but Sylvia and Donard will act as cover, so essentially his THAC0 will decrease by 3. The cover will give the ogre +4 armor class, and Flynn gets a +1 bonus for short range, so his THAC0 is essentially 19, and he needs to hit armor class 5, so he needs to throw a 14 or more. And he throws a 17, and he hits hard with another 6, and that ogre dies, drops with an arrow in its eye. I have to say, this Flynn character, even though he has no magical short bows or short bow training, is absolutely slaying everything with his archery. They will search this ogre's body, and they find a tiny golden key. Right, that must be significant. There are another 2 exits, one to the west and another passage to the south. We'll have Flynn listen at the western door, and he doesn't hear anything, but I think they'll check out this open passage first. It falls into darkness, there are no torches, so it seems there are no ogres, so creeping forward very carefully, they come into this room, 20 by 20. This small chamber contains a plain looking column at its centre. Donard does suggest that it is Flynn's job to go forward and to search it for traps. It does look a bit dodgy. And Flynn is successful, and he finds a small keyhole the size of that small golden key. So from his experience of traps, Flynn suggests that the key will disarm this trap. He puts the key into the lock. It turns with a beautifully clean snick, and he is sure he has successfully found and disarmed this trap. There's another door to the south, or do they want to go back to this room and go west? Right, we shall do a vote. Flynn doesn't get a vote. It is 1, 2, 3 for the western door, 4 to 6 for the southern door. And our magic wielders, Malin and Sylvia, both vote for this western door. And I'm going to leave it there for this session because this room is rather complex and should be interesting. But before we go, Sylvia will cure herself using her sword that has a Cure Light Wounds spell on it. She is currently on 20 out of 25. And she is back up to 25. Right, I will mark that off my spell board, which I did recover. Donard has 3 Cure Light Wounds. Thanks to his old mentor, Mikhail, Malin has discovered what his magic ring actually does. It's a ring of spell storing, we knew that, and it has the capacity for a mirror image, a hold person, a mass morph, which is an unusual spell, and confusion. The confusion has been used up by the magic user who first owned the ring. He can replace all of these spells simply by casting the spell into the ring. Malin has mirror image, so he has recharged that spell. He doesn't have hold person, but Sylvia has it, and she has recharged that spell. And Malin does have confusion on a scroll. He can't write it into his book yet. He's finding it just too tricky, but he is almost there, and he feels confident that one day soon he will crack this spell and get it into his book. And maybe Mikhail Gruselface will provide him with another spell, but until then the confusion is not available. Sylvia did kindly cast the whole person into the ring on the proviso Malin does let her borrow it at some time. That was difficult to persuade him to do that. He has become quite jealously protective of this ring, but he admits, yes, fair is fair. Sylvia herself does not have mirror image, which is a great loss considering she is moving into front line fighting. But if she casts mirror image from this ring, she can take a few extra hits without taking any damage. That's a strategy to remember for next time, because I think this dungeon might get a lot tougher. But until next time, I'll see you then.